Today, I would like to tell you about the methodology used to investigate the relationship between student motivation and academic achievement from the social control perspective at the Police University and the initial findings of the research. First of all, I could tell you about the problem statement, the reasons why I chose this topic for my research. As far as you know, motivation is a very important factor affecting the success of the second or the foreign language learning. However, the relationship between motivation and learning achievement is not quite clear. In the current literature, motivation is now recognized as being socially constructed, therefore being dynamic rather than static. Legal research has been conducted on the motivation of Vietnamese students who are learning English not as a major, but as a compulsory curriculum component from a social control perspective. Understandings of this relationship as well as of the social control factors that affect student motivation will make an important contribution to the motivation theory. Therefore, the situation requires longitudinal and in-depth research into the student motivation, the factors affecting it during the learning process, and the relationship between student motivation and the student's academic achievement. Next, I will tell you about the objectives of my study. First, to gain understanding of the research student motivation. Second, to identify the social control factors influencing student motivation. And third, to investigate the relationship between student motivation and academic achievement. Two research questions are raised in my study. 1. In what ways is the student motivation socially constructed? And 2. What is the relationship between student motivation and their academic achievement? 5 sub-research questions are also addressed. How motivated are the PPU students to learn English? What social control factors affect their motivation? To what extent does motivation affect academic performance? Why does motivation affect academic achievement that way? And what are the theoretical implications of the relationship between student motivation and academic achievements which can be derived from this study? Next, I will tell you some information about my university, the People's Police University. As you know, my research will be conducted at the PPU in the south of Vietnam, where the researcher has been an English lecturer for 11 years. This university belongs to the armed forces. It means that all of the students here have to live in the dormitory during the 5-year study period, except for the summer and the Tet holidays. First, it is a learning environment that encourages teamwork and project work among the students. According to the curriculum, there are often 10 general English classes in an academic year, and the number of students in each class varies from 25 to 50. The student ages range from 18 to 25. Most of them have completed from 3 to 7 years of general English in the secondary or in the high school. A placement test is carried out before an English course in order to classify students into their actual level of English proficiencies. Of the total 3 semesters with the 180 periods of formal class instructions, the first 2 terms are designed as a general English course to have students finish an elementary or pre-intermediate level. In the last semester, ESP content is introduced with 90 periods of class instruction. These have to promote student interest and motivation in the learning language, as they are more aware of the benefit of language skills in broadening their knowledge. About the participants of my research, the participant could be the first-year student at the PPU with the number 200 students. Now, in the research procedures, first of all, the questionnaire could be administered to all first-year students at the beginning of the research process. This will be followed by the focus group interview. The participant for the focus group interview will be randomized by means of number drawing. The purpose of the questionnaire and the focus group interview is to determine student motivation levels. Then, the scores in the semester exams will be used to establish a hypothetical relationship between student motivation levels and their academic achievement. Next, I will tell you about the results of my study. As you can see from the screen, the majority of the students show a relatively strong integrated motivation while learning English. Of the subcomponents of the integrated motivation, integrated orientation and attitude towards English speakers go strong, while interest in learning English and the perceived relevance of the course content for the students in the study seem rather weak. It can be seen from the data that, although the student had a favorable attitude towards English and understood its role in their work, their interest and motivation was reduced when they actually encountered difficulties. Concerning professional purpose, 79% said that they were learning English because it would be useful for their future jobs, showing a strong instrumental motivation. The researchers found this confirmed in the group interview in that the primary reason for the students to learn English was for their future careers. It was also interesting to note that a large number of students agree that English could help them learn their other academic subjects better. The follow-up interview results revealed that the students sometimes needed to read reference materials in English, therefore it was useful to know enough English. It was revealed from the analysis that interest in English corresponds with the effort one pays to learn it. In terms of effort, the students' motivation to learn English was relatively low. Observations of classes also revealed that the student participation in task completion and willingness to communicate was low. The desire to learn English indicates the level of one's commitment to attaining the goal. In the context of the study, the students showed a strong desire to learn English in that 65% said they really wanted to learn English and only 10% rated their desire as very low or low. These figures corresponded well with the students' perception of the integrative and instrumental usefulness of English. Again, it was interesting to know that the desire did not necessarily correlate to interest levels. Higher desire may not result in high interest, and low interest may be the result of factors other than the desire. The students' attitude toward the English course was measured using one direct question. 45% of the students display a positive attitude toward the English course, a lower percentage than that of the desire. It could be inferred from the focus group interviews that an unfavorable attitude resulted from the poor achievement and high task difficulty. Students had a rather high level of anxiety while learning English. 38% students shared the shyness in class preventing them from practicing English, and 30% said that the such worries prevented them from learning English to some extent. In general, students expressed a low evaluation of their own aptitude to learn English. Only 11% believed they had the right ability to learn the language, while 45% perceived themselves as having low or low aptitude. Research also has proved that the low self-efficacy will lead to low self-confidence, which in turn may adversely affect motivation and achievement. Language opportunity is related to the social environment in which the language learning occurs. The opportunity to use the target language plays a role in retaining learning and motivation. The survey statistics in this study show that 55% of the students believe that a lack of opportunities to practice English in everyday situations impeded their learning. To explore the relationships between student motivation and their English proficiency, a correlation analysis was conducted using three categories of language learning motivation: integrative, instrumental, and intensive. The correlation analysis revealed that the students who were more instrumentally motivated tended to perform better in the test. In other words, the more instrumentally motivated the student were to learn English, the higher scores they achieved on the proficiency test. In short, as it was revealed from the study, the students were more instrumentally motivated than integratively, more extrinsically motivated than intrinsically. Most students stated that learning English for practical reasons, such as getting a good job, reading reference materials, or because it was a compulsory subject. Even among the intrinsically motivated students who reported having great interest and effort in learning English, the primary reasons was also for the future career. This conclusion was confirmed both by the quantitative and qualitative data collected in the questionnaires as well as in the focus group interview. This was a preliminary study to determine the student motivation level at the PBU after they finished the first semester of learning English. Therefore, to identify the social control factors affecting their motivation and to confirm or reject the hypothetical relationship between student motivation as well as academic achievement, this procedure will be repeated with the same group of students when they move on to the second semester. Thank you for your attention.